Hey, what's up everyone? It's Emily and welcome back to my channel. I was looking for the perfect spooky book to get me into the kind of fall mood, and this one did it, guys. This one, okay? It was this book was so not what I expected it to be. It was 10 times better. And I'm gonna do a review on this. This is what this video is going to be. But I did not script this or plan it through at all. I just want to talk about it, and I'm gonna keep it spoiler free as much as I can. Yeah, so I'm here to talk about House of Hollow. This book. I got it from the library. Please don't judge my barcode here. Use your local library. They're important. Okay, great. So this book, saw another booktuber do a review on it. I cannot for the life of me remember who it was. If I can find them, I'm going to put them in the description. Thank you to whoever showed me this book, because I found it at the library with Hugo and picked it up at a last second because I was like, oh, it's not very long. This would be really great to just read quickly. It seems kind of spooky, dark, gritty sort of thing. And I was right. I think this essence that I'm feeling from this book really comes from the author's use of imagery with the words choice that they use. It's so descriptive and visceral with every time the author's describing something, you can taste it in your mouth. It the way that blood is metallic on your tongue. It just was so with the descriptions. Anyway, okay, so this story follows three sisters. They are the Hollow sisters. Gray, Vivi, and Iris is her name. Iris is our protagonist. That's the person that we're seeing the story through, and she's 17 years old, but 10 years ago, her and both of her sisters went missing for a month and were found on the street naked with these huge hook-like scars across their necks and no memory of where they were or what happened to them. And ever since they've come back, weird, creepy things have been happening. Their hair turned white, their eyes turned dark black. They have the ability to kind of manipulate people around them to do what they want them to do. There's this charm about them that no one can really put their finger on it, what it is, but there's something about them that is both grotesque and beautiful and kind of intriguing. And one day, the oldest sister, Gray, goes missing, and the other two sisters are there's something wrong, because we can feel her and we can't feel her anymore. So there's something bad that's happening to our sister. And it's them looking for their sister. And on top of that, this scary stalker dude with a bull skull looking thing over his head is following them everywhere. So if that doesn't kind of set up the creepiness of this book, I don't really know how else to describe the creepiness of this book. I wouldn't say this is a book that would keep me up at night, but it did give me goosebumps while I was reading it, and I definitely had the squirmies while I was reading it. I kind of had to shudder a few times. Again, just because of the way the author uses this descriptive language to really just set the tone for this book. It was very sensory heavy, which I liked. In a lot of ways, the imagery reminded me of Gallant, but it was a lot more plot driven than Gallant is. We're definitely moving towards something the whole time in the book. There's definitely a progression through the plot. There is character development happening, versus in Gallant, I feel we were just there for vibes and good writing only, and this is good writing, but definitely with forward momentum. I really want to keep this spoiler free, so I don't want to go too much further into the story itself. Definitely check your trigger warnings. If you're someone who's triggered by a lot of dark, gritty fantasy books, there's definitely some really heavy topics and themes kind of laid into the bones of this book. And a lot of the time it felt more like a psychological thriller to me than it did. Well, I guess psychological thriller I feel is a subset of horror, but it definitely felt more like a thriller than a slow burn in a lot of ways, and also a mystery. So we have some different themes that we're pulling on here. One thing I didn't love about it is one of the side characters is an ex-boyfriend of the oldest sister, and he, as far as I understand, is over 18 or 19. He's an adult for all intents and purposes, and at one point, he and the main character share a romantic moment together, and that really gave me the ick. So be aware of that. That was kind of unexpected to me, and it really threw me for a loop, and it was at the end, so I was obviously gonna finish it, but if that was something that had happened in the beginning of the book, I don't know if I would have continued. Like, it really gave me the ick. So that is just something to be aware of. And also just like the oldest sister, I did not understand her deal. So I'm trying to keep it really vague. But for people who've read this book, you might know what I'm talking about. Like, I just didn't understand her deal. But yeah. But oh my gosh, let me just say this book was so thrilling, and it was everything that to me screams October, like spooky books. And on top of that, we had some good queer representation without it being like flooded in your face, which I thought was really, really cool to just kind of have that be a part of the story. It doesn't take away from any part of the story, and if anything, it just enhances the characters a bit more, and it makes them more unique and different from each other, which I really liked. So yeah, I know that this review was so scattered. I gave this book 5 stars because it was amazing. It was one of those books that when I put it down, I didn't stop thinking about it. I was like, I'm gonna have to read some more tonight because I need to know what's going on. And I would just rant to Hugo about it for like 30-40 minutes a day while I was reading this because I just couldn't stop talking about it or thinking about it. And so yeah, there were a couple like downsides to it that I wish had been maybe addressed or just not written at all, but I'm not the author. I think if you are someone who is looking for a thrilling, spooky horror book with really visceral descriptions and good use of the text, this, like, the author, we took our time with a lot of these descriptions, and they're done very purposefully. Just the way that the text is explored in this, I thought was really, really well done, especially for a horror book. It really set the atmosphere for everything that was going on. Don't really know what to say beyond that. I really, really enjoyed this book. If you're looking for something a little bit dark, horror-y with like a dash of fantasy in it. Like, I wouldn't say that this feels like a fantasy book, but there are some fantasy elements to it. This is definitely a good one to pick up. If you've read this book, let me know your thoughts on it down below because I would love to find people to talk about this book too who have also read it. That is going to be it for today. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please be sure to give my channel a like and subscribe. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I can't wait to see you in the next one.